Yeah, man. So hey, let's get into it, man. You know, we're gonna talk. First of all, let me just introduce everything. This is gonna be an ongoing podcast that we're gonna be doing right here. This is gonna be. We're mostly gonna have Ibrahim. We're gonna have a lot of members from the Stronghold of Sultans. We're gonna have a lot of conversations. I just want you to all know, the viewers out there, that this is gonna be some real conversations. So you might have to be 18 plus. We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Addictions to certain substances and certain videos and lifestyles and all that. We're going to have a lot of real conversations. And the reason why we have those conversations is because we live in a world as Muslims where young women and young men can't go and ask their imam a question about, what they're going through with maybe an addiction to corn or something like that, or uh, the best way to approach a woman for marriage or something like that. So they can't really have these conversations. Well, a lot of them can't with their parents or their imams or their amirs, or they're not going to get good advice from their buddies. So that's where I try to come in, and Ibrahim and the men in the Stronghold of Sultans. By the way, Ibrahim, he is a member of the Stronghold of Sultans, and he's been so for quite a while. He is actually a battle team leader. And so we'll get into that a little bit later. But what a battle team leader is somebody that leads men in a battle plan in the four quadrants of life: the physical, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the financial. So the big thing about the Stronghold of Sultans, and I got the link down below where you can check it out. Got a website, got a place that it's all for men, 18 and up. Got to be Muslim, you got to be a man, you got to be 18 and up, because we talk about um, a lot of situations that are adult, right, that need to be talked about.
Real
So
world, real world stuff.
yeah, real world stuff that we need to talk about. And here's the thing, Ibrahim. Can we just put away the astaghfirullah? Oh my God, why did he talk about that? Well,
Yeah,
while you're saying astaghfirullah, your children and your wife or you yourself are going through, like Ibrahim says, real world problems. And we need answers. If
yeah,
you could see that the emails that I get from men and women asking me all kind of outlandish questions, uh, hey, it's wild out there, man. And it's wild with Muslims.
yeah.
Muslims have wild lifestyles, man. I'm here to tell you, I get emails all the time, and they need solutions that they can't get from the imam or their amir or whatever. So let's get into it. First of all, Ibrahim,
Mm.
what is masculinity? What is toxic masculinity? Has it been hijacked? Is it real? I mean, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, it's all been hijacked. But there's a new age modern mentality that we're living in this time and anything goes, and the boundaries of any particular area of your life are just gone. They're just gone. You know, it's you can celebrate a lot of different things in the street, but being masculine is not one of them, because then you're shamed for your masculinity and you're labeled as toxic masculinity. As being toxic masculinity, and that's a problem. Um, a lot of it has to do with not just the masculinity. I don't think it has to do with the femininity and the lack of femininity. Now we have been indoctrinated into a new ecosystem, so to speak, I think. And anytime you introduce a new organism into an ecosystem, given a long enough timeline, that ecosystem will change. It has to. It has to change and adapt to accommodate that new organism. And that's what's happening in day-to-day life, just not just for Muslims, but just people in general, especially in the Western countries. I can't speak to the East, the Middle East. I'm not there, but here in the West, we have been hijacked, especially masculinity, and I have a real problem with that. Our men no longer are taught how to be men. Hell, they're not taught how to do basic things, just basic things. Things that whenever I was growing up, it's just what we did. It's just what we did. Change brakes on the car, check the oil on the car, things like that. These are basic to you and I. To you and I, they're basic. But we come from a different time frame, and we have, a different mindset when it comes to this stuff. But the idea of masculinity has definitely been hijacked.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, coming from a man's point of view, I mean, coming from a stronghold of sultan's point of view, and that is not to pretend that men don't have mistakes. I mean, no, that's not what we're doing. you join the Stronghold of Sultans, you see my website. It's not a bunch of red pill stuff, man. All that can go to hell, man. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
We talk about and we emulate prophetic masculinity of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sunnah, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, everything you're saying is true, but at the same time, we have to actually address, because we are men wanting to be the best fathers and the husbands that we can be. We have to address toxic masculinity, and let's face it, yeah, there is toxic masculinity out there. There's a lot of men out there that pretend that they know what masculinity is, but they brought it from back home. They brought it from the red pill movement or whatever. So as men, and we're not pointing fingers at the women or anything. What we do with the Stronghold of Sultans, we don't badmouth women. We talk about problems with women and men, with ourselves and with everybody,
Absolutely.
because we need to have conversations, and that's what the Stronghold of. That's why I built this whole thing. One of the many reasons is to get the problem out there, out in the open, without blaming people. Let's stop complaining. Let's stop moaning and whining, and pull our bootstraps up and actually do something about it, right? And so that's what we do in the Stronghold of Sultans. But what is the difference? Go ahead.
When we're talking about the masculinity thing, a lot of it, I believe, is femininity that's masquerading as masculinity, and that's what's being labeled as toxic, because men are adapting and adopting the traits of femininity, and they're reacting with their emotions rather than with their logical brain, and thinking problems out and processing situations as they arise. Instead of doing that, they are reacting with their emotions, and this is what's getting labeled as toxic masculinity. I think it's just masquerading as a it's a misnomer.
Yeah. What's the difference between ego-driven masculinity and prophetic masculinity to you, in your opinion? What do you think?
Well, anytime you involve the ego, the knives, the desires, right, then you're automatically taking a defensive approach to it. No matter what the situation is, you could be talking about religion, you could be talking about relationships, you could be talking about what to have for dinner. Anytime your ego is involved, there is a friction that's created. Are you with me?
Yeah, you're on the screen, man.
Oh, okay.
It's you.
Okay.
It's all you, man. I gave you the spotlight, man.
All right. So anytime that you're talking about the ego, there's a friction. A friction gets created by the ego, right? If you and I have a disagreement about something, um, my ego is the first thing to get offended, and I'm going to react with not my masculinity, but my perceived masculinity, what I believe based on my upbringing, based on who I was around, and my particular circumstances of how I grew up. Right, so I'm going to react with how I was raised, basically. All right, that's a reactive thing that involves the ego. Masculinity, being truly masculine, I believe, is about being reserved and processing situations as they occur, and then being able to tackle them piece by piece. There's an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's right.
You have to approach life that way, just like with the four quadrants that we cover in the SOS in the Stronghold. You have each quadrant. You can't just jump in there and try to attack all this stuff at one time. You're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to give up. Ultimately, you're going to lose because your ego is going to get defeated, and it's going to say, we're just going back to the way we used to be because that's easier, and look how far I've got you and protected you so far. Right? That's a problem.
It is. It is, and I think a lot of people out there are losing. A lot of men out there are losing the focus of what we need to do as men. Sometimes, look, we come from different backgrounds. We come from different cultures. We come from different countries and tribes. But as men, as Muslim men in particular, we've come to that point where we just got to just squash everything and say, hey, man, what you got, man? What can you teach me? How can I benefit you? How can you benefit me? And that's where we get into the Stronghold of Sultans. Everybody in the world has a tribe, has a culture, has a, organization, has a group that does that. But we Muslims are so divided when it comes to that. It's ridiculous, man. So,
I,
what we need to do, go ahead.
I think, Ali, a lot of the reason it's like that, man, is because we're too busy trying to pick each other apart. And the thing is I'll pick you apart for something knowing good and well that me myself am unperfect, right? I'm still struggling and striving in a certain area, doing the greater jihad, the jihad of nafs, right?
Right,
I'm doing
right.
inner struggle myself, but I want to not only give you correction gently, like I'm supposed to do, according to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what we're commanded to do, but I'll jump down your throat, brother. This haram, that's haram. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. And it's okay to give correction, but you have to understand each person's psychology is different, and each person is in a different place. And you were talking about being focused. We're so scatterbrained, bro. Hell, we're so scatterbrained we can't finish one project before our mind wanders to 12 different things. Our phone, our email, this, that, and the other. You know, and I think one of the first steps in building your masculinity is learning to engage the mind and return your mind back to your center, man. Just slow it down. Slow it down. You know, we're overwhelmed. We're overstimulated.
You know, that's true because a lot of people, especially as men, don't know what to do. They get, and I've been in that situation many times. I'm sure you've been in that situation many times where you feel as a man, as a husband, as a father, that you are out in the middle of the ocean on a boat with no oar, no sail, no wind, no sight of land, no nothing. And you just think, well, I don't even know what to do. I can't swim this way. I can't swim. I don't know where the land is. I feel completely stuck.
And
And
everybody's drowning with you, right?
it,
Everybody's drowning with you because you're the captain, and you're like, oh
it,
my god,
exactly.
yeah,
And here's the thing, that's happened at the same time. Well, hello, Stronghold the Sultans right now. If I can't help you, my brother Ibrahim can help you. If Ibrahim can't help you, one of the other 50 brothers inside of the Stronghold can help you.
yeah.
That's what we as men need to realize is that that whole lone wolf fallacy, that whole
Sig-
lie that
sig-
men bought into.
Sigma
Yeah,
male,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That sigma, alpha, all that. Man,
yeah.
come on, man. That's just a load of crap, man.
Well,
We we
it's a way. I think, Ali. I think it's a way to keep men separated from other men. It's
right.
a way them separated. You build them up with this fallacy, this false idea of self, this false sense of ego, where I don't depend on nobody, I don't need anybody. You know, the same thing that's happening with women nowadays, where they're indoctrinating them to this "I don't need no man" mindset. Yet, whenever they enter into marriages with men, they have all the expectations of a traditional man in providing and protecting, so on and so forth, but they're not willing to provide the trad wife, the traditional wife values. So there's just a lot of bullshit, excuse my language, but a lot of
Yeah,
bullshit coming at everybody,
yeah.
and they're trying to build you up into this idea, man, and be like, yo, if you're standing on your own, then you're one of the 1% and all this stuff. Guess what happens to the 1% over the long enough timeline? They become extinct. That's why tribes were formed. That's why tribes have always been successful, man. It's because you band together for a greater good, for a greater purpose. You help one another. Where I'm weak, you're strong, and vice versa.
That's right. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Stronghold of Sultans. It's not a bunch of white collared guys. It's not a bunch of blue collared guys. It's a bunch of white collared and blue collared guys together. I got doctors, I got lawyers, I got tech guys. I got Dr. Shadi Al Masri, who is the resident scholar inside of Stronghold Sultans. We got it all, man. And if I
And,
don't got it,
and
yeah,
regular guys too.
yeah, regular guy. I'm a regular guy. I'm the
Me too.
founder of Stronghold the Sultans. I drive a big rig, and you know what? I pay my bills. I'd like to think that I'm a good father and a good husband, and I do my best. But my whole point of that is, um, yeah, if I don't got it, you got it. If I
Yeah.
don't know how to do something, or here's the best part. If I'm going through, see, there's a couple of guys going through divorce on the Stronghold of Sultans right now. They've never been divorced. Guess what? I have been divorced. I
Yeah.
pulled myself out of divorce. I know how you, bro, I know how you feel
Yeah.
exactly, physically, emotionally. It feels like you're just getting like squished to
Yeah.
death, your
You're
whole
dying.
body. Yeah, it feels like you're dying, your whole world. You don't see your kids. I've been through that before. And here's the thing, you don't have to go through it by yourself. I can teach you ways on how to fail, you know, rebound, girls getting, doing rebounds and hooking up with people. That ain't it, man. That doesn't work. And this doesn't work and this doesn't work. But these things do work. Let me show you the way, so you can come out of this even better. So we don't just say, well, I got a divorce and let me examine all of the reasons why she was wrong and not me. Hey, brother,
Yeah,
she's gone. She's
yeah,
gone. Y'all are never going to be married again. And the only thing that you can change about your relationship is who you are right now. That's it. That's all you can do. So when I went through divorce, I went through that period of sadness and anger and blaming and everything. And then I got to it where I just said, this is just ridiculous. I'm saying this and I'm saying that and I'm thinking all of this, but she's gone and I'm gone from her life. There's nothing that I can do. There's nothing she can do or say. The only thing I can do is pick up the pieces and move on with my life and examine what I did wrong and what I did good and fix that. So you said something, Ibrahim, that I want to slide into the next segment about the traditional wife
yeah.
wanting a traditional man, but she wants to be a modern woman. So the next thing is women who say, I want a man who provides, protects, leads, but don't want to follow, support, or build.
Mhm.
What do you think about that? Is that a hypocrisy? Is that a double standard? Or is that just a narrative of what these modern day women have been taught?
I think I think it's multifaceted in that regard. I believe that it's a little bit of both, really, Ali. I think that yes, absolutely, this agenda has been pushed and pushed until a lot of the women they don't even realize that this is what's happening. I've sat and watched interview after interview with a lot of these girls, and when they're questioned about this type of thing, they go, wow, I guess I never really considered that. But they still refuse to change their stance on that. And that goes along with the lack of accountability. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to bash on women whatsoever. That's not the point of this, okay? But the majority of men that I know, when they mess something up, they take accountability. And if they don't, that's something we need to be talking about with them in the stronghold of sultans. But the majority of women that I know, when they make a mistake, you have to pry that apology out. So you got to figure out the women they're just lost, Ali. They're lost a lot. And then another problem is they're getting their advice from these older divorcee cat ladies. I'm gonna call them, just for lack of a better term, bro. It's what it is. They just get to the point where they're taking their advice from these women who are unmarried or have been through several failed marriages, and they're trying to apply that to their life and wondering why there ain't no good men. There's plenty of good men. There's plenty of good men. I can name 50 right now. You know, the problem is that men are starting to realize their value, and they're not settling for or jumping on out of a scarcity mindset. They're not just embracing these women out of a scarcity mindset anymore. So sisters are going to have to up their game when it comes to being marriageable material, because men are not, they're getting to the point where we're starting to educate ourselves, and we're starting to see for ourselves out here in this world by observation alone, okay, that the way it's been going is failing. It's failing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what we had to talk about is, because there's sisters watching this as well, or they will watch this. Um,
I think they should. I think they
uh,
should. My
they
thing,
should.
my thing is this: you're a truck driver. If I need to know how to drive a truck, I'm going to ask you how to drive a truck. I don't think a sister needs to be getting marriage advice about what men want from another sister. They need to hear that from men. Who knows better what a man wants than men, right?
Yep.
Who knows better what we expect than men? But likewise, men have to learn to be masculine again.
Right.
Not not this. This is not masculinity. That's not masculinity. This walking around, I'm the toughest, I'm the baddest, it's my say so because I'm in charge, and that's it, and the law made it that way.
Yep.
That's bullshit. That's not masculinity. That's toxic femininity masquerading as masculinity.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, sister, this is not about control. Nobody is trying to control you. But what we're talking about as men is responsibility and the roles of a woman and a man, with a wife and with a husband. Now, if a man says that he doesn't need a woman, he's a lie. If a woman says she doesn't need a man, she's a lie too. And if they both believe this, there's going to be a power struggle in the house. And
Yeah.
that's not good. And that leads to divorce, and that leads to everything else bad. What we're saying is, you know, collectively at the Stronghold of Sultans is, look, we're going to be doing everything that we can do to be the best husbands and fathers and men. But for us to do that, we have to almost deprogram ourselves and and learn a lot of things, what masculinity isn't and what it is. I'll give you a perfect example. Somebody I used to coach personally, he's a 26-year-old Muslim from, well, I won't say where he's from, but he's from the Middle East.
Mhm.
And so he was 26 years old, and he told me, he asked me, he said, you know, I want to get married. And I said, okay, that's good. You make good money. You're a good guy. What's the most important thing for you as far as a woman, the quality in a woman? And this is what he said: that she obeys me. And I said, oh God, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Oh,
I said, okay, okay, let's get into this a little bit deeper. And so I said, why is it so important for you for a woman to obey you? And he said, because the Quran tells the women to obey men. I said, young man, I need you to sit down a little bit, get yourself a soda, nice and cold, put some ice cubes in there. You might need you know, a cheese, and some crackers or something. Sit down, man. Listen to me. Wouldn't you rather? Okay, let's talk about obedience. Does it say in the Quran that women should obey their husbands? Yes. But here's the thing, there's two things about that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that men and women are equal, except that Allah has given a degree to the men above women. But there's a caveat there. As long as the men protect and they provide. Those are the two caveats. Just because you got a set of, of these between your legs doesn't make you a man. It makes you a male. Okay. It doesn't make you a husband. It makes you an anatomical male, period. Okay. So when it comes to obedience and you want a woman to obey you, I told them this. I said, wouldn't you want your wife to obey you with surety, with clarity, instead of I gotta obey my husband just because it says it so in the Quran. If you are a man and you have control of your anger, if you have control of your temper, if you have control of your lower desires, if you have control over your ego, if you have control over your authority over your wife, and you demonstrate to her that you understand this, not only do you understand this, but you live your life by this code alone every single day and every single moment of your life, especially with her, you know what she's going to do once you demonstrated that over time? She's going to take a nice deep breath, and she's going to give you the reins of the marriage. She's going to give you the reins of leadership and say, okay, now that you've proven yourself as a real man and that you understand your power and you're not going to trip, I'll give you my obedience gladly. So there's a difference between that and you have to obey me because Allah says so. Bro, do you want your women to be happy with you or absolutely miserable thinking that they're an employee of you? Go
yeah,
ahead, Ibrahim.
yeah. A lot of men go through that too. A lot of men get stuck in that. They get stuck in that same repetitive cycle where they continue to live as a tyrant rather than a partner. You know, all of us have had as men, if we're being honest with ourselves, we've had some dealing with that. We've been that, and we have saw the light and emerged from the other side and chose to be different. Um, which is why it's so important to have other men to discuss this type of thing with, so that you can say, hey man, here's what I'm doing. I'm doing this with my wife, I'm doing this with my kids, and they're not happy. Well, let's take a look at what you're doing. Let's take a look at what type of leader you're being. They can't relax into their femininity as long as you're ruling as a tyrant rather than a partner. You know, and the way you need to look at this problem solving thing within your marriage is when you even have a discussion about anything, it needs to be before you get started. You need to approach it with, am I trying to solve a problem with my partner or debate with my enemy? That's the way you need to approach this. And if you decide that you're trying to problem solve with your partner, you're going to have a lot better outcome, man. It's not always about being right. It's not always about being right. And that's another thing, you know, as far as accountability and things like that go, we have to stay strong on accountability, man. Have to. I think that's a must. All of us make mistakes. If I piss you off, if I slight you in some way, it might take me a month, but I need to come back and make that right. Talking from personal experience, you and I don't always agree on everything. And we're men, and we're not going to do that. But you know what? I'm not going to drive over to your house, call you out in your front yard, and yada yada yada, because we have emotional control, right? We can process our things, get back to each other, work it out, bro. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's supposed to be, and that's how real men operate. I'd like to plug my own website here and my own group, Stronghold the Sultans. I know you haven't heard of it out there in the audience land, but it's been a thing for a year now, and I'll tell you something that I am very, very proud of. There hasn't, in 365 plus days in the Stronghold Sultan, ever been one argument. There's been nobody that insulted the other person or humiliated. When you come inside of the Stronghold of Sultans, you sign the code of conduct. This is not social media. This is, I see your real face. I know your real name. There's no profile names. Abu Meow Meow, Al Kitty Cat, Halal, whatever, 107. This is Ibrahim. This is
Yeah.
Ibrahim Sokolov. This is Ali, whatever.
Yeah.
And these, to have real conversations, I gotta know you, man. I gotta know your name. I don't want to look at a stupid anime cartoon profile picture. Okay, I want to
Yeah.
know who you are, man.
Yeah. And
So
we all, a lot of us talk often too. It's not just through podcasts and things like that. We're on the phone with each other. We're on Telegram. We're texting each other, so on and so forth. Communicating with battle team members, and like it's a real thing. And they're not always going to agree. We're not always going to agree, but we can disagree respectfully. There is a degree of respect that comes along with being a man. That's why I say most of the time, whenever there's like some physical altercation that happens out in the world, it usually involves a woman. Let's just call it what it is. A man is overreacting to some behavior from his woman because he has no emotional control. Yeah. Yes. He wants to suddenly be a pit bull. He wants to suddenly be this and suddenly be that. So all of these different things play a factor. I'm going to relocate over to the car. So I think some people are doing a photo shoot behind me. And
okay,
no problem. No problem. That's the beauty of being live. That's the beauty of
that's
being
it.
real life happening.
I mean, what you don't know, what y'all don't know out in audience land is Ibrahim and myself had a disagreement with each other, and I'll tell you what, it went bad. But you know what? I held myself to account, and he held himself to account. And at the end of the day, we you know, got good with each other, and we realized that, hey, the mission is more important than whatever we disagreed upon. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, we're back stronger more than ever, and we got that communication open because that's what men do. It listen, if Ibrahim is stronger than me, you know what? I love it. If he's richer than me, I love it. If he's doing really good in his life with his businesses and everything, I love it. I want him to have more of it. I love it. I love it. Right. So a lot of us we get into that hater stage where we think, oh well, I don't like what he's getting. Why not? Why do people's success bother you? If my
Yeah.
brother was a millionaire, I'd be like, oh man, I love that, man. I just opened up another business, man. I got this line going over here. Oh man, Allahu Akbar. I love it. I love it. But the thing is, in the stronghold of sultans, the brothers are going to ask you, man, teach me how to do it. And
Yeah.
Ibrahim will say, hey, I'm setting up a class right now. I'm
Yeah.
going on call. I'm a battle team leader. I teach you how to do it. I'm not gonna, well, if I teach you how to do it, then it's going to take money away from me. No, we don't operate like that, man. And I'll tell you what, it's
No.
not time for us to do that anymore. Okay. The Jews, they are together and they spend money with each other. African American community, the Asian community, whatever community, they spend money with each other and they network with each other. And we don't. Why? We claim to want to we claim to follow the Quran and the Sunnah. We are believers in Allah in the last day. But let me tell you something, man. Y'all don't act like it, man. You really, really don't act like it. So for me to believe you and for the rest of the world to believe you, that you believe in Allah in the last day and the conduct and the mannerisms of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, guess what? I'm going to kind of need you to do that on a daily basis with me every day. We're going to slip and we're going to struggle a little bit, but I need you to prove that on a daily basis. So if there's any men out there that are Muslim, they're above the age of 18 and they're a man, you can click on this link over here, www.strongholdthesultans.com, and join up. And when you get into the Stronghold of Sultans, you instantly realize, it'll take a minute to plug a little bit, Ibrahim.
No problem.
You instantly realize that,
sorry,
holy crap, this is not Instagram. This is not Twitter.
Yeah.
This is not TikTok. This is, holy crap, this is real. This is real. And not only is it real, I can do something about my life right now.
Yeah.
I can have a coach. I can have a physical coach teaching me how to live, how to eat, how to work out, how to save money, how to invest, what money is about, how to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You got religious questions. We got Dr. Shadi Al-Masri literally ready to answer any and all of your questions right now. As a matter of fact, y'all know Dr. Shadi Al-Masri. Everybody knows him all over the world. Guess what? He was the first member inside of the Stronghold of the Sultans. I told him, I can't do this without you, Sheikh. I can't do this because we're not going to go red pill. We're not going to go over here. We must stay within prophetic masculinity. And if we stray, I have to have you to check us to make sure that we stay on that straight path of prophetic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Oh, go ahead. You want to say something, Ibrahim?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you were saying whenever they go over to that www.strongholdofsultans.com, when you join up, look for my battle team and join my battle team. I'm calling out my brothers over there that are battle team members. Little friendly competition. Let's see who can get the most members, inshallah. So you join my battle team, inshallah. Team Sarat. Team Sarat.
Team Sirat on the straight path of masculinity. We got a question out here from Mrs. S. When is the female version coming out? That is an interesting question. And that's something that Ibrahim and I talked about even before the podcast. We wish someone like us would get with the sisters and talk about real feminine energy, how to be the best wives and mothers and women out there in the world. We would love that. As a matter of fact, we are that is a goal of mine personally, to bring in another stronghold. Maybe we call it the Stronghold of Sultanas, right? And
Sisterhood of Stronghold, or Sisterhood of Sultans, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I am not a woman. I don't feel like a woman. I don't think like a woman.
You're not
and I'm not, I don't identify as a woman.
Oh, see, there you go, everybody. That's it. You just say what you are. I'm a man. That's right.
I'm a man. I'm a man. There's men and then there's women, period. Pick one.
Yeah.
So we are waiting for something like that to come out. We will ally with you. We will promote you. But we just can't, it's not fair for us to say, well, this is what it is to be a woman, and this is how you should be. If that comes from a man, a lot of women would say, what? You don't even know what it's like to be a woman, buddy. It has to be a woman. I'm the founder of Stronghold of Sultans. If there's a sister out there that is interested in doing this for sisters, I would promote you night and day. I would promote you inside of the Stronghold of Sultans and on my YouTube channel and on my TikTok live, to get you the membership that you need, right? So that being said, I don't know. I guess it's up to y'all, man. If you want to do it, I will
That,
support you to the end. Um,
that was a
that
good
being
question.
said,
That was a good
yeah, that
question.
was a good. That is a good question because sisters want it too. They want the sisterhood, right?
And they need it, bro. They need it. Like I say, I said the other day, yesterday, I think it was in my video. Men need men, and women need women. That like we need each other from a marriage standpoint, obviously, because we provide balance. But when it comes to those issues, man, that I need to talk to somebody about, I gotta reach out to one of my brothers, man. That's Islamic. That's Islamic. We want to stay on the Quran and the Sunnah to the best of our ability. Lord knows we all slip. Allah knows best. But we want to do the best that we can with that in that regard, and sisters need sisters the same way. I really believe that.
I'm telling you, man. And the same way that we have been lied to as men, what masculinity is, they need to realize that they've also been lied to by feminists on what femininity is, the real the prophetic femininity.
Yeah,
So it's almost like men and women. We need to be deprogrammed and unlearn all that type of bullshit that we were taught
yeah,
since we were kids. And then the women need to do the same thing,
yeah.
you
And
know?
another beautiful thing about like the Stronghold of Sultans, and if the women were to create a group, the sisters would come up with something similar to this. Is that when you go to the masjid, a lot of times, and I don't care who you are, when you're new to a masjid in a community, you go in there and you feel a sense of alienation. A lot of times, yes, you will have certain brothers who will approach you and talk to you. Alhamdulillah, 13 years ago when I took my shahada, I was very, very fortunate, very blessed that Allah sent the right brothers at the right time. Otherwise, I would have bounced, because after being in a community for a little while, what I experienced was that sense of tribalism. And you know this as well as I do. When you go into a masjid, you have like the Somali brothers that will chill with the Somali brothers, and the brothers from Africa will chill with the brothers from Africa. And then you got like me and you, white breads, just kind of like winging it, winging it, like trying to talk to everybody, because we're like, hey man, assalamu alaikum, we just want to talk to everybody. So yeah, you get where I'm coming from, but that eliminates a lot of those nerves. And we don't expect this to be your Jumma. There's no replacement for your Jumma. But this is a community that will also help encourage you. Hey, bro, go on and take that step to the masjid. You should honor the house of Allah. You should get into the masjid, yada yada yada. It's okay, be uncomfortable, just breathe. Walk each other through these types of things, man. But we need a place where we can go and not feel a sense of separation based on our tribe and based on our ethnicity and based on our nationality too.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, let's roll into the next segment. What is your opinion? What grown men need these days, as fathers, as men, as professionals, as whatever? Like, what are the? If you had to say, what are the top three or the one or two top things that men are lacking these days, um, that they need to implement in their life? What would you say? Let's be real, man, because you promised and I promised myself if we're going to do this podcast, man, we're going to go full steam, man. It's going to hurt sometimes. It's going to sting us. It's going to sting other people that are listening. But what we're going to do is we're going to be raw, period.
Yeah,
So what is your opinion on what men are lacking and what they need to do? Muslim men, of course.
yeah.
Tell it, man.
I gotta honestly say, drive is a big factor. Motivation. Most men are lacking motivation. They've resigned themselves to a life of mediocrity. They're saying this is the best it's ever going to get. So they continue in the same career field, even though they're miserable. They continue in bad marriages that Islam has long ago left. And they just continue down these same routes because they feel stuck and they feel hopeless. I think lack of direction and motivation, lack of direction and proper motivation. That's my two biggest things that I could see most of us as men, me and you included, we all need to improve in that. We all need to constantly be improving in that. No matter how you could be up here, you'll never be a 10. Okay, you'll never be a 10. You'll be a 9.5, but nobody's perfect. So I'll never say I'm a 10 in any area, because there's always areas I can improve in each individual quadrant of my life, man. But those are the two things I really believe, that a lack of direction and a lack of motivation. A lot of brothers they're just damn confused. They don't know where to go. That lack of direction. Well, what steps should I take to do A, B, C, and D in my career field, or to maybe apply for a promotion? Or what steps should I take in order to, with myself, not with trying to control my wife or my kids or whoever, but what should I take with myself as far as steps go to make self improvements, to make my marriage better, to make my relationship with my kids better, to make me a more likable person? A lot of guys ain't likable, and that's because we're walking around just half crazy all the time because we got so much pressure on us. We got so
Yeah,
much and no damn body to talk to about it. You know?
that's right. And that's why men in general are 5 times more to unalive themselves more than women, because we've been told, hey, if you express yourself, you're weak, you're a bitch, you're this and that, you're, oh my god, you're talking about your feelings. uh
It's actually the number one cause of death, Ali,
yeah,
between the ages of 18 and 40. It's the number one cause of death is self-inflicted unaliving.
yeah. And we got and we talk about that on the Stronghold Sultan too. We got a whole section called suicide prevention. Why? Because it's real.
Very
I
real.
mean, a lot of Muslims have thought about this, but back to what you were saying about a lack of motivation. Most men think that they are men already while being the most mediocre, average men in the world. They think that being man is paying the bills and, being intimate with your wife and being a father. And I clock into my job and I come back and, hey, I just want to sleep. Now, if
Those are
we
those are
we
aspects. Those are aspects of it.
yeah,
Of
those are aspects, but here's where we turn up the level. We read about turn up the volume. We read about Sahabas. Oh, Omar ibn al-Khattab. Oh, look at this person. Oh, we read all these stories and we idolize them. We look up to them. But here's the thing: were any of them mediocre? No, they were all extraordinary men.
yeah.
Um, but what did they do to become extraordinary men? Did they just sit around and clock in 9 to 5 and go and
They
uh,
struggled.
they lived that life. They made sacrifices. They bled. They spent time doing the things um, that they needed to do to get to where they wanted to be. Right. So, um, newsflash, that's the same thing that we need to do, brother. 2025, you waking up in the morning and clocking in 9 to 5, coming home, eating your dinner, doing your husband duties, doing your father duties, is not enough. It's not enough. And guess what? You got more in you, man. You got more in you. If you say, "Oh, I'm tired and everything, I'm tired," you probably don't exercise. Is why you're tired. You don't. Your testosterone is probably low. Okay, your energy levels are probably low. You probably need to get some blood work. And we talk about that from A to Z. If you go inside of the Stronghold of Sultans, we talk about everything, man, physically, mentally, emotionally. We talk about everything, and it's all there. And it's not a bunch of people just saying, "Well, I think about." These are experts talking. This is life experience talking. We got real things going on inside of the Stronghold of Sultans. So if you want to be an extraordinary man, if you want to improve, I got one rule for everybody that asks me, "Oh, what do we do? Palestine and this and Iran and everything. What do I do?" The first step, and I want everybody to listen, especially men. The first step to improving our condition as an ummah, as men, is stop complaining and stop blaming anybody for anything. I don't care if it's fair. I don't care if it's unjust. If the world hates you, I don't give a damn what's happening in your life. All I care about is what can you do to overcome that? Because the way some Muslim men look and social media and TikTok whining and bitching and moaning and carrying on about everything and complaining and blaming governments and everything else, you look like a punk, man. You look weak, and you're just exuding that all over the world. You're claiming that message that Muslims are weak. All we do is moan that things aren't fair, and we complain about governments and everything. Man, look, do you think that Palestine is going to be free tomorrow? Probably not. But as men, we have to play and I want, please, men, pay attention to me. We as men need to own up what we have to play the long game. Is Palestine going to be free tomorrow? Probably not. We have to ask ourselves a question: why or what events happened to us as a whole people, as man, as an ummah, that caused Palestine to even happen? I always ask people a question. Do you think like a leader like the president of Egypt, Sisi, could have become a leader shortly after the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you got men like Abu Bakr Siddiq, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Khalid ibn al-Walid rolling around in the camp? Do you think a man like Sisi or any modern Muslim day president or Amir or whatever could exist in that time and be a leader? They would never let that happen. But we as Muslims let that happen. Why? You want to say, the weak Muslims want to say, it's because of the Muslims. It's because of everybody else. Man, it's because of us. Yeah. We let that happen, man. Shut your mouth. Stop blaming people, man. Shut your mouth and be quiet.
Yeah.
It's us. It's us. We did it. We did it over time and over time and over time. And now we got Palestine. And now we got people in the chat and everywhere else typing, grown men, free Palestine. Did the Sahaba stand at the Battle of Badr with placards and say, free Mecca? No, they didn't. Now, is it okay to bring awareness to Palestine? Absolutely. Show the videos. Show what the Palestinians are going through. We need to know about these things. But damn it, if we want to change this by the generations, it starts with you. Brother, listen to me. It starts with you. It starts with you getting your fat ass into the gym and doing something about it. Some of you brothers rolling around with a belly like you're in your last trimester of pregnancy while calling yourself a man. Okay? You could do something about that. I'm not making fun of anybody, but you can do something about it.
Yeah.
So when you roll around like you look like Ibrahim, he's swole, man. And when he rolls around, I'm pretty sure the average day non-Muslim says, yeah, he probably ain't the one.
Yeah.
But if he was a weakling and he weighed about 400 pounds, they wouldn't take him seriously. Now, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but all I'm saying is when they look at you, they look at what Islam does for you. When you speak to people a certain way on the street and you call yourself a Muslim, people remember that. Okay. So if you have Ibrahim, for example, rolling down the street swole, and he's intelligent, and he's rolling that Mercedes whip, and he's can talk about anything intellectual, I'll tell you what, any man like Ibrahim is dangerous. Now, don't misconstrue what I said right now. Being dangerous is okay, but being dangerous to people around you is not okay. We are not violent people.
Exactly.
But being dangerous, having the ability to break someone off and put them on their back, whether it's physically or intellectually or financially or whatever, that's what we got to be. And that's the only reason and the only way things are going to change is with you. So I'm asking you, the one that is watching this, and it's like, okay, yeah. I need you to prove it now, man. I need you to step up. Because I'll tell you what, nothing's going to change if we don't change. Doesn't Allah say that in the Quran, Ibrahim? Yes. Allah will never change a condition of a people until they first change what is it within themselves. Yes. So it starts with us, brothers. So stop your complaining, stop your whining, stop your blaming, stop pointing your fingers. You take this finger and you point it straight to yourself and don't worry about anybody else. You understand what I'm saying? You take this finger that it's the Saudi government, it's this, it's the king, it's that, and you point it right to your face, man. And because you're not the king. You're not the king of Saudi Arabia. You're not the king of whatever. Some of you not even the king of your own house, and you're worried about some other man. Okay? Be the husband that your wife is wishing you to be. That's what you do. Be the father of your kids that every kid is wishing to have a father like. Okay, that's what you do. Get rich. Get rich as a what? So I can get a bunch of toys? No, we use money. We put it in our hands. We don't put money in our hearts. We use money as a tool. to further the move, to further the ummah, to what we need to do. We have so much to catch up on. Why don't we have Muslim TV shows where we tell our own stories instead of them making movies about us, pumping out misinformation all over the place? How come we don't have our own social media? It's because we don't want to do anything, and we're okay with non-Muslims innovating everything else in the world for us while we sit around doing this. What are you going to give us next, master?
Yeah. Afraid to lose anything. Afraid to lose anything. Afraid to be uncomfortable a little bit. And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that in the Quran, that he would not change the condition of a people until the people change the condition of themselves, that applies in every area of your life too. I mean, you can look at yourself and you can say, okay, look, if I'm overweight, for example, and I want to change to be better, what's in my heart right now? Well, what's in my heart right now is a fat boy. I've been there, bro. I have been there. I was overweight. I was out of shape. I was lazy. I was demotivated, so on and so forth. I had to change the condition of my heart first. Allah didn't miracle that on to me. I had to get fed up and say, bro, enough is enough. And I started making the appropriate moves and making the appropriate changes in my life to facilitate that change to come. And that also came with getting away from certain groups of people, certain types of dull individuals. You say it all the time, I say it all the time. Steel sharpens steel. We have to surround ourselves with sharp individuals in order to stay and remain sharp. And that's in every area. So once I surrounded myself with other like-minded individuals who were focused on being fit, focused on being the best version of themselves that they could be, then I started to adopt those same habits and those same traits as my peer group. And that goes across the board, man. That's the way it is in everyday life. What do you see happen when you go into a job? If you're one of those brothers that works in a factory 9 to 5, we're not putting you down. We're not putting you down at all. We're saying you're better than that, number one. You're better than that. You deserve better. Trust and believe you deserve better. Now, is this maybe what you have to do temporarily? Yes. Yes, it may be what you have to do temporarily, but we're talking about building a plan in order to escape from that. But when you go into these factories and into these workplaces, what do you see happen? The same thing that happens in a lot of masjids. You see the tribalism kick in. You see the cool kids hanging out with the cool kids. You see the outcasts hanging out with the outcasts, so on and so forth. And that's what it's about when it comes to, when you're talking about surrounding yourselves with like-minded individuals, whether it's physically, the area of physical or finances or what. I want to be rich, so I'm going to take advice from somebody that's rich. If I'm a jockey, if I'm a horse jockey, and I'm running in a race, I'm not going to watch the man behind me. I'm going to watch the man in front of me and see what he's doing. That's where I want to be. I want to be up front, so I'm going to emulate what he's doing. I'm not going to emulate the knucklehead behind me because I done passed him. Now, I may have had to watch him until it was time to pass him, right? But once I got to that point, it was time to discard that, man, and go, hey, time for me to move on up to the front. And that's what it's about in all these areas of life, man. But we got to change, like you said. Allah's word rings true since it was revealed, and for forever, ever, and ever. It's always going to be that way. We got to change the condition of our heart first and foremost. And Allah knows best.
Absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing to piggyback off of what you said. Yeah, we are savages inside of the stronghold of sultans. We are savages. If women could take a peek inside of the stronghold of sultans, they'd be like, can I get him and him and him? You can't have all of us. First of all, sister, I'm married and Ibrahim's married, but there's a lot of eligible men that are just unbelievably stepping up and upgrading themselves, right? But here's the main thing to the listener out there that is thinking, well, I'm 280 pounds. He's talking about me. I work at Walmart. I'm not really this and that. Listen, man, this is not a popularity contest. You're not coming inside of the stronghold of sultans and seeing a bunch of perfect men. Hi, I've been working on myself for 20 plus years, and I will work on myself until they put me in the hole. That's it, period. Okay. The only person that you have to compete with is that weak punk that you wake up next to in the morning. The one that you look when you brush your teeth in the morning, you look at that weak version of yourself that tells you, oh, I gotta go to work. Oh, I'm gonna put myself in a bad mood. Oh, I'm never gonna make it. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I need you to level up with that guy shoulder to shoulder and sock him in the face as hard as you can, because I do it every single day. I did it before this podcast. I do it every single day. I wake up.
He
My
did.
name is my
I
name is Ali. My name is Ali, and I wake up to the punk Ali every single day that doesn't want to get on his running shoes, doesn't want to lift that heavy ass weight in my garage gym, that doesn't want to do anything. But I do combat with that joker, okay, every single day, because that joker that made me overweight, that joker that wants me to stay weak and poor and not evolve as a man, okay, he didn't do anything to get me anywhere in life. And I don't want that. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody that is interested in the stronghold of sultans. Listen, you're going to come in weak. You're going to come in not knowing what masculinity is. Come on through, man. We'll teach you what it is. We're your brothers. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to, oh man, look at this guy. We're up here and he's over there. Man, are you kidding me? That'll never happen. We in the stronghold of sultans are all about helping. And I always go ahead, Ibrahim.
We've already been there too, and we're still there in a lot of areas. Yeah, we're still fighting the same struggles. We're not on here talking about, hey, we're perfect and this and that. Like you heard him say, he punched himself in the face today before the podcast. I seen him do, metaphorically speaking, like literally we were talking, and he's pumping himself up. You got to do that. When you have to motivate yourself, guys. We're not we're not perfect. We're not perfect, and we want you as you are. We want you as you are, because we can take that and we can help build with it, man. And you can help build me more. You may know something about editing, or you may know something about something I need to work on my vehicle or whatever. You have something to offer me too. So don't act like you're don't feel like you're hopeless. That's another important message. On the one hand, you got to be hard on yourself, but on the other hand, it's very important to place into perspective that nothing is a hopeless lost cause. Because a lot of us look in the mirror when we're in these stages, and then we see what you were talking about, and we feel completely hopeless. This is it. This is all I'm ever going to be, man. He's right. I'm just a piece of shit, and like I don't know how to get out of this, Don't feel like that. Don't feel like there is no help and there is no hope. That's not what life is about, man. There is help and there is hope. We just have to be willing to make the appropriate changes within ourselves with the way that we view life. And a lot of us are so overwhelmed and so locked into this cycle, man, that we really don't even realize we're viewing life that way. We're doom scrolling. We're doom scrolling our own lives. That's what we're doing. Doom scrolling our own lives. We see nothing but negativity in our job. We hate our job. It doesn't pay enough. They work us too many hours or not enough. And so that's the reality that we stay in. We don't realize that there's another timeline we can step over into. It already exists, bro. You just have to step sideways instead of continuing to walk down that same path you're already in. Take a step into another timeline and start living that life that you want to live.
That's right. And while he's talking about doom scrolling, here's what I need you to do too. Can you take an interest in your own life over other people's lives on TikTok? Can you really stop watching them YouTube videos about everybody else's luxurious life and how they got it and how they look and what they got and blah blah? For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can you start loving yourself and get interested in your own life for a minute? Because you're doing this on your phone, you're blah 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 on your phone, and you're not doing anything for your life, man. You're not in the gym, you're not learning anything, you're not in the stronghold of sultans. Because I'll tell you what, by default, I promise you, you get into the stronghold of sultans and you think, where the hell has this been all my life? Finally, a place where Muslim men can meet and talk and build and plan and get fit and get the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and financial advice and everything. Do you know we have financial analysts inside of the stronghold sultans? We literally have financial analysts inside of the stronghold of sultans that can teach you about investment, what money is, how we use it as a tool. Hello, can you get that anywhere for $4.99 a month, or you go all in with the elite membership, $9.99 a month. Can you get that anywhere else?
That's
No.
amazing. Think about that. I mean, really, when you wrap your head around that, if you call one of these investment firms around here, you're paying hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of dollars for investment advice. That's insane. That is insane.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, not only that, we're talking. We just said one thing: financial advice. We got experts on marriage. We got Baba Ali from halfdean.com inside of the Stronghold of Sultans.
Yeah, you
Hello.
looking to get married. You guys look at your brothers looking to get married. There
Hey,
you go.
we got Baba Ali. We got Dr. Shadi Al Masri. We got Azmat Zishan inside of there, our financial advisor. We have computer techs. We have people, CEOs, business owners, and I meant it, doctors, lawyer. We got a lawyer, a Muslim lawyer. He's my neighbor. I could throw a stone at him. He lives so close, I could throw a rock at his house and hit it. He is answering questions about how to deal with legal situations as a Muslim. FBI knocks on your door and you're a legal citizen, how not to fold up and how to know your rights. He's there to answer all your questions. We literally have every single facet covered. And a lot of people just keep on coming into the Stronghold of Sultans to make it even more powerful, right? I'm telling you, this is something that the non-Muslims are going to hate. Number one, we are
Yeah.
uniting. Number two, we are improving. See, they got us on Twitter. They got us on Instagram, arguing and dividing and calling each other all kind of names and, you know,
Half
uh,
everything
yeah,
else.
Kafir, you takfir this and that's haram, police all over here. You know,
Yeah.
the non-Muslims love that, you know, because what that means is a generational divide. But when you have an organization like we have our Stronghold of Sultans, a group of all Muslim men trying to be the best men that they can be, and that makes us dangerous. Forget all of the, you know, the warrior groups that they got in the world. When you combine all four quadrants, the physical, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the financial, oh boy, you are a dangerous man to them because you're going into their territory right now, and that's where it begins. That's where our story and our second golden age of Islam begins.
Yeah.
But brother, anybody that's watching this, sisters too. I'm talking to your sons. I'm talking to your husband. I'm talking to your uncles and your father.
Yeah.
We need to get together, man. We need to get together. And I'm going to ask you one more question, and we're just gonna go off. We're gonna end this stream. In your opinion, Ibrahim,
Mm.
if you had a young Muslim man, let's say you got about 6 Muslim young men in front of you in their 20s, what
Mhm.
would you tell them? How would you advise them how to operate as a man, as a true masculine Muslim man in this world?
Respect, self-respect first and foremost. Accountability, and I would give them direction based on their individual characteristics and their strengths and weaknesses. That's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would advise them. Get your direction. Let's build you a team. Let's build you a plan to attack life in the most efficient manner. So you're not wasting time. I wasted 25 years of my life not being efficient, trying to fight the battle from my weak side rather than from my strong side while I worked on bringing up my weak side. That would be my solid, sincere advice. Have self-respect and find some direction and be accountable. But be accountable to yourself first and foremost, really and truly. You got to be accountable to you, man. If I make a mistake any time of the day, I always try to be accountable for that.
I completely agree. And here's the thing: what you said about battle planning. First of all, I've been battle planning for 20 plus years. It works. Why does it work? Because we as men are always we're thinking about the Roman Empire, right? What can I do? How can I conquer the world? How can I conquer my house? How can I build this? How can I do this DIY project in my backyard? How can we? We're always thinking, but what we're not thinking, what we're not doing is writing it down. We think as men so many things in our mind that in about 15 minutes, it's gone. It's gone. You got all these aspirations that you want to do in life. And in 15, 20 minutes after you eat your lunch, it's gone. What was I thinking about? It's gone. So with the battle plan, it's you, the piece of paper, and the pen. And you're writing it out, all of the things that you don't like about yourself. Be honest. If you don't identify a problem, how are you going to fix it? How are you going to bring it to the attention of the other brothers inside of the Stronghold of Sultans? How are you going to do that? You
Yeah.
can't. You sit down with yourself, and another person you sit down with is your honest self. Okay, because if you want true change, you'll be honest and transparent with yourself. And
Yeah.
you sit down. I don't like this, man. I'm 30 pounds overweight. I don't like that. I don't like the way that I talk to my wife. I don't like the way I kind of yell at my kids or something like that. Write it all down because you need to see this and you need to wake up in the morning and get that piece of paper and say, holy crap. Yep. That's my handwriting. Yep. I said this. Yep. That's me. Because if you don't, you'll forget it. And then what we do, just to explain the battle plan, and then we'll go off. The battle plan is what we do is we don't hear the theme music to Rocky. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna go to the gym 7 days a week. I'm gonna stop eating for like 1,000 days. I'm gonna do this, and then you fall flat on your face because
Yeah.
your mind, your emotions, they weren't built this way, man. Okay, what we do is we do 1% changes in your body, in your lifestyle. Why? To create a habit of muscle memory, if you will, of easy things that you can do. So that means if you come to the Stronghold of Sultans and me, I can deadlift 405 pounds. Does that have to do anything with you? No, it doesn't. Worry about yourself.
Yeah.
So don't worry about me and don't look at me. I'm me. You know, if you look at my battle plan 20 years ago, you would say, bro, were you even trying like at all? I was because I was struggling. But what we focus on is minute changes. So that means if you can do, yeah. That means if you can do 10 push-ups, don't tell me 15 or 20 to look like a tough guy. You're gonna fail. I don't want you to fail. So if you can do 10 push-ups, that means that you do probably 8, 3 days a week or every day. So you can crush that easy goal, right? That means if you can save $50 a month or $50 every paycheck, that's what you do. I save a lot more than that because of all of the sacrifices and time that I put myself through. I go through 2 to 3 books on my Audible account every week. Now, not a month, every week. I finish the Quran twice a month on my Audible account. I have a battle plan. I listen to the Quran every day. It is the book of Allah. There is no book like it. It's in my battle plan. It's a part of my life. Guess what happens when you do that? When you put together your battle plan, your realistic battle plan, guess what? As a man, that is your new minimum. We don't go back. We don't go back. If you're smashing your 30, your 60, and your 90-day checkpoint, we don't retreat as men. So it means if you do everything that you say on your battle plan, and you come to 90 days and you're looking for a crown and a cape or something to graduate. No, we don't do that, man. Life doesn't graduate. Tradition doesn't graduate. Okay. It never graduates. I'm going to ask you, even if you did everything, you hit all of your goals after 90 days, I'm going to ask you one thing. What's next? What's next? Okay. That's your minimum. Cool. Proud of you, man. What's next?
Yeah.
As men, we always reach. What's next? Oh, you're going to work on your relationship with your wife? Okay, cool. Okay, let's get into it, man. You need my help, bro? What you need? Your kids aren't talking to you? What is that all about, man? Let's talk about that. Let's get into that. Let's make a 15-minute call to your kids once a week on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, let's help you. We don't just throw you into the den, into the lion's den, and say, come on, improve, do your thing, get strong, get in shape. We help you. We put you on our shoulders as Muslim men. Okay. So if you have anything else to say, bro, I'm spent. If you got anything else to say, we'll just get up out of here and plug it. And
it sounds good. It sounds good, guys. Listen, be sure follow me on my YouTube channel, inshallah. That's the @ symbol, one God, not three. And then on TikTok, yeah, it's across the ticker. I forgot about that. On TikTok, it's Sokolov, SOKOLOV _ Hamza. And you guys already know Mr. Maliki Clique, inshallah. And if you ain't subscribed and liked to him too, you better go ahead and do that. Quit playing. Head over to StrongHold of Sultans and check it out too.
Check it out.
Check it out.
And if you have any questions for me, I'm talking about women to get your boys in. You do have to be 18. Your brothers or whatever. I will answer any question that you have, but most of the information of what goes on in StrongHold is on my website, and that's right here, www.strongholdofsultans.com. The StrongHold of Sultans group is for men only, but the website is for everybody. And the reason that I do that is, as a man, as a Muslim man, I want to be transparent to you sisters. I know there's been a lot of mistrust. There's been a lot of red pill, and there's been a lot of men versus women. I want to let you know exactly what we're doing. I don't want to hide anything from our sisters, from our mothers, from anybody, right? So what I want to do is be transparent. You're more than welcome to go to the website and see what we do. So make sure that you follow me on TikTok, Maliki Clique. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Maliki Clique, and follow me. Thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate you. And this is just one of the many episodes that we're going to have here in the StrongHold sessions. Barakallahu fikum. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.